The dark secret, hidden behind this 1,000-year-old mummy, shocked the entire world. A 1,000-year-old mummy was discovered sitting in a fetal position, but the terrifying part is not its appearance. It's the dark secret hidden behind it. An ancient tomb contained the remains of children who were forced to die so they could be buried alongside the tomb's owner thousands of years ago. A pair of male and female skeletons still held hands after 3,500 years beneath the frozen ice of Siberia, as if their final moment had never truly ended. Deep inside a dark cave in Africa lie the traces of prehistoric artists who already knew how to mix paint more than 100,000 years ago. All of these discoveries show us that ancient history does not only contain forgotten secrets, but also dark truths capable of sending chills through the modern world. Hello everyone, and welcome to the Ancient History Channel, the place where we uncover the strangest and most terrifying mysteries ever buried beneath the dust of time. In today's video, you will follow shocking excavations from Peru, China, and Russia to ancient caves in South Africa. Some discoveries have forced scientists to completely rethink what they knew about human ancestors. Other tombs have revealed burial rituals so cruel they are almost impossible to believe. And most importantly, the secret behind the 1,000-year-old mummy discovered in Pachacamac near Lima, Peru, continues to spark fierce debate among researchers to this very day. Because behind those dried skeletons lying motionless for thousands of years, there may be horrifying stories that history has never fully told. So prepare yourselves, because the deeper we go into the ancient world, the more we realize one terrifying truth. Some secrets were never truly lost to time. They were simply waiting to be unearthed once again. And now, without making you wait any longer, let's begin with our very first discovery. 500-year-old wolf's body covered in solid gold, revealing a chilling ritual of the Aztec Empire. Recently, archaeologists in Mexico City stunned the world with the discovery of an ancient stone chest buried near the Zócalo, not far from Templo Mayor, once considered the sacred heart of Aztec civilization. But what truly sent chills down people's spines wasn't the chest itself. It was what lay inside. Inside was the body of a wolf, only about 8 months old, preserved in an almost intact state. And most astonishing of all, its entire body was covered with solid gold jewelry. Just hearing that already feels unsettling, doesn't it? But the story doesn't end there. Surrounding the wolf were 22 complete artifacts, from finely carved pendants to nose ornaments and even a chest plate made of thin sheets of gold. Everything had been deliberately arranged, not randomly placed. It resembled a ritual, one that had been carefully prepared down to the smallest detail, not something done casually. And that appears to be exactly the case. After analysis, researchers proposed a haunting theory. This wolf did not die naturally, it was sacrificed. After being killed, Aztec priests adorned it with valuable jewelry and even fastened a belt made of seashells around its body. Shells that had been brought from the distant Atlantic Ocean. This detail suggests that the ritual was far from ordinary. It carried deep and significant meaning. They then placed the animal inside the stone chest and covered it with a layer of sharp flint blades, forming a kind of spiritual seal. But perhaps the most thought-provoking detail is the orientation of the body. The wolf was positioned facing west, the direction associated with Huitzilopochtli, the Aztec god of war and a symbol of the sun. According to Aztec beliefs, wolves were not just ordinary animals. They were guides for fallen warriors, helping them cross dangerous rivers on their journey into the afterlife. In other words, this wolf may have been chosen to serve as a spiritual escort, a role of profound sacred importance. When all these details are put together, archaeologists believe this discovery may be directly linked to the reign of Ahuitzotl, one of the most powerful and ambitious rulers of the Aztec Empire. He was the leader who expanded the empire's territory as far as present-day Guatemala and was also known for conducting grand and sometimes terrifying religious rituals. So the question is, was this simply a standard sacrificial ritual, or does it conceal a deeper message left behind by the ancient people? What do you think the answer might be? As for me, the deeper we dig, the more we realize that what lies beneath the ground is not just relics, but fragments of an entirely different worldview. And this discovery doesn't just help us better understand religion, it also opens up a new perspective on how the Aztecs viewed life and death. 4,000-year-old gold-hilted sword beneath a soccer field in Scotland. A Bronze Age secret has just awakened. You know, our world may seem very small, but it holds countless fascinating and mysterious secrets. Some secrets lie hidden inside pyramids, while others are buried beneath vast deserts. But some of the most incredible mysteries are not hidden in majestic places like those. Instead, they lie right beneath a modern soccer field, where people walk every day without realizing that beneath their feet are the remains of a world that vanished thousands of years ago. A powerful example of this comes from a discovery in Carnoustie, Angus, Scotland. While workers were constructing a new soccer field, they unexpectedly struck an ancient metal object buried deep underground. At first, nobody thought it was important, but as layers of mud and dirt were carefully cleared away, the shape of an ancient sword slowly began to appear. And at that very moment, the entire construction site was immediately shut down. After being notified, archaeologists quickly arrived at the scene to expand the investigation. They understood that this discovery might not simply be an ancient weapon, but possibly a clue leading to an entire cache of Bronze Age artifacts lying dormant beneath the soil of Scotland. And do you know what shocked experts the most? It was the sword's hilt, which was made of gold. Although the sword itself was relatively small, it displayed extremely distinctive features of the Bronze Age, a period around 4,000 years ago when humans first began mastering metallurgy and crafting far more sophisticated weapons. Just imagine it, 4,000 years ago, while much of the world still lived in primitive communities, people in this cold northern land of Europe already possessed bronze weapons decorated with intricate gold details. Doesn't that suggest that society at the time may have been far more advanced than we once believed? For that very reason, immediately after being excavated, the ancient sword was transported to a laboratory for extensive scientific analysis. Researchers hope that studying the artifact will help them better understand its origin, manufacturing techniques, and the role this weapon may have played in ancient society. According to initial assessments, the sword may have been broken long before it was buried underground. However, because the artifact is both extremely ancient and exceptionally rare, experts have not yet reached a final conclusion. Archaeologist Alan Hunter Blair, the lead researcher on the project, stated that the archaeological team is still working to uncover additional artifacts around the discovery site. He described the find as extraordinarily rare for Scottish archaeology. What makes the discovery even more significant is that it may be connected to a Bronze Age weapons hoard dating back thousands of years. And if that is true, then many more secrets could still be hidden beneath the ground of Carnoustie. And this is not the first time the area has surprised archaeologists. Previously, scientists discovered the remains of a Bronze Age woman believed to have died around 3,700 years ago in Carnoustie. Evidence gathered from multiple excavations suggests that this region was once heavily populated during the Bronze Age. That means the place, which today is covered with soccer fields, streets, and modern houses, was once home to ancient communities skilled in metallurgy, tool-making, and perhaps even warriors who fought with swords thousands of years ago. Just hearing that is enough to send chills down your spine, isn't it? Because sometimes history never truly disappears. It simply lies silently beneath the earth, waiting for the day humans accidentally awaken it. A small sword with a golden hilt could open the door to an enormous story about Bronze Age civilization in Scotland. And who knows, beneath that unfinished soccer field, there may still be ancient tunnels, warrior tombs, or even the hidden treasures of a community that vanished from the world 4,000 years ago. The deeper we dig, the more history reveals that humanity's past still holds far more secrets than we ever imagined. "2,000-year-old Rainbow Cup treasure carrying ancient legends in Germany." Did you know there's an ancient European legend that says wherever a rainbow touches the ground, mysterious gifts are left behind? Not gemstones or glittering fairy tale treasure, but small curved gold coins with a very unusual name, rainbow cups. It may sound like folklore, but here's the surprising part. These rainbow cups actually exist. In 2017, in Brandenburg, a state in northeastern Germany, a discovery caught the attention of the archaeological world. It wasn't just a single coin or a few scattered pieces, but an entire hoard of gold dating back more than 2,000 years. The treasure was found by Wolfgang Hercht, a volunteer archaeologist working with the Brandenburg State Museum of Archaeology and Heritage Management. At first, he discovered about 10 gold coins, but after reporting the find and conducting a more careful excavation, The total rose to 41 coins, a number that surprised everyone. All of them had a slightly curved shape, unlike flat, typical coins. This unique feature is why they're called rainbow cups. According to legend, they appear where a rainbow touches the earth or fall from the sky, bringing luck, and were even believed to have healing powers. And think about it. Over 2,000 years ago, when science was still in its infancy, discovering strangely shaped gold coins like these would almost certainly lead people to believe they were gifts from another world. You probably would have thought the same, but for scientists, the real question isn't the legend. It's the true origin of these coins. Based on their weight and size, experts determined that the hoard dates back to around 125 to 30 BC during the Late Iron Age. This was also a period when Celtic culture flourished, a powerful ancient civilization that spread across much of Europe. From Britain, France, Belgium, Switzerland, and Austria to southern Germany and even modern-day Czechia, the Celts left their mark across vast regions. But here's the strange part. The Celts didn't live in Brandenburg. So why would a Celtic gold treasure be found there? That's exactly what makes this discovery so remarkable. It suggests that more than 2,000 years ago, Europe had a far more extensive trade network than we once believed. These coins may have reached Brandenburg through trade, exchange, or perhaps through a journey that remains unknown to this day. Among the 41 gold coins, 19 are known as staters, each about 0.8 inches in diameter and weighing around 0.26 ounces. The remaining 22 are smaller coins, called quarter staters, measuring about 0.55 inches and weighing around 0.06 ounces. Each coin is not only valuable in material terms, but also a piece of history. Wolfgang Hercht, the man who discovered the treasure, shared that this was one of those rare moments an archaeologist might experience only once in a lifetime. A discovery that not only holds scientific value, but also helps illuminate the history of an entire region. Yet even with its age, cultural origin, and structure identified, the greatest mystery remains unsolved. Why was such a large treasure buried in Brandenburg? Who hid it there, and why did they never return to retrieve it? It could have belonged to a merchant, a warrior, or perhaps it's part of a story lost to time. No one knows for sure. All we do know is that after more than 2,000 years, these rainbow cups have reappeared, not at the end of a rainbow, but right beneath the feet of modern humans. And now, it's up to scientists to uncover the truth behind their mystery. The gold treasure and the beautiful woman's remains found in an ancient Siberian king's tomb, revealing a brutal ritual from 2,600 years ago. Throughout thousands of years of history, there have been ancient tombs that, once opened, shocked archaeologists not only because of the gold and treasures hidden inside, but also because of the horrifying secrets surrounding the deaths of those buried within them. And in the frozen lands of Siberia, Russia, archaeologists uncovered one such mysterious burial site, revealing terrifying funeral rituals practiced by an ancient civilization that once struck fear across Europe. The tomb was discovered in a region often referred to as Siberia's Valley of the Kings. From the very beginning of the excavation, experts knew they were dealing with something far from ordinary. Buried deep beneath layers of frozen earth that had remained untouched for thousands of years was the final resting place of an ancient Scythian king, a member of the nomadic tribe famous for its highly skilled horseback warriors, who ruled vast stretches of the Eurasian steppes around 2,600 years ago. But the discovery that drew the most attention from researchers was not the king himself. Instead, it was the remains of a young woman buried right beside him, surrounded by enormous amounts of gold, silver, and priceless jewelry. According to archaeologists, this woman must have held an extremely high social status. Evidence for this came from the large collection of golden ornaments, intricate works of art, and valuable treasures placed around her body inside the tomb. Everything suggested that she had lived a life of luxury and power during ancient times. However, the mystery is that, to this day, experts still cannot determine the exact cause of her death. Studies of the male skeleton, the main owner of the tomb, revealed that he suffered from prostate cancer before his death. But in the case of the young woman buried beside him, there were no clear signs indicating that she died from illness or an accident. And that has led to an extremely disturbing theory. It is very possible that this woman was poisoned or deliberately killed so she could be buried alongside the king after his death. According to archaeologists, she may have been the king's wife, or perhaps one of his favored consorts. At first, this might sound like an extreme theory, right? But as the excavation continued, what researchers discovered next made the story far more terrifying. It turned out that the king and the mysterious woman were not the only ones buried there. Researchers also uncovered what appeared to be an entire entourage sacrificed alongside them inside the ancient burial complex. In total, archaeologists found 35 human skeletons scattered throughout the tomb site, including the remains of 16 men, 13 women, 5 children, and 1 individual whose gender could not be determined. In addition, they uncovered the remains of 14 horses buried alongside their owners. Just imagine this for a moment. More than 2,600 years ago, during an ancient funeral ceremony on the freezing Siberian steppes, dozens of people, along with powerful war horses, may have been killed simply to accompany their king into the afterlife. Even thinking about it is enough to send chills down your spine. Based on the evidence uncovered during the excavation, experts believe this entourage did not die naturally. They may have been sacrificed as part of an incredibly brutal Scythian burial ritual. What makes this discovery even more remarkable is how closely it matches the writings of the ancient Greek historian Herodotus. In his historical accounts, Herodotus described the Scythians as having terrifying funeral customs. According to his writings, when a king died, his most loyal servants would be killed and buried alongside him so they could continue serving him in the next world. For centuries, many people believed those stories were nothing more than legends or exaggerations made by ancient historians. But now, the discoveries inside the Siberian tomb seem to prove that those rituals may have truly existed. Not only that, but the enormous amount of gold and valuable artifacts found inside the tomb also reveals the immense power of the Scythian nobility during that era. Although they lived as nomads on the steppes, they possessed extraordinarily advanced gold-working skills and lived lives of astonishing luxury. Archaeologists believe this discovery is one of the clearest pieces of evidence helping modern humanity better understand the mysterious Scythian civilization, a people who once made many ancient empires wary of their power. But perhaps the most haunting part of the entire burial complex is not the gold or the treasure. It is the fate of the people who were forced to die alongside their king, a truly horrifying death. The 7,700-year-old remains of a mother and her twin babies that deeply moved the archaeological world. You know, in the world of archaeology, some discoveries do not leave people speechless because of gold or treasure, but because of the haunting human stories buried beneath the earth for thousands of years. And once again, in the frozen lands of Siberia, Russia, scientists uncovered one such extraordinary ancient grave, a burial site preserving the tragic story of a young mother and her twin babies from approximately 7,700 years ago. The grave was first excavated in 1997 at an ancient cemetery located in the city of Irkutsk, near the southern tip of Lake Baikal, Russia's famous lake. This region was once home to ancient hunter-gatherer communities more than 7,000 years ago. At first, the discovery did not attract much attention among the hundreds of skeletons uncovered throughout the cemetery. But years later, when more advanced research technology became available, experts realized they were standing before one of the most emotional and rare discoveries in archaeological history. Specifically, in 2012, during a new research project, archaeologist Angela Levers from University of Saskatchewan and her colleagues carefully re-examined the skeletal remains that had been discovered years earlier. Initially, researchers believed the grave contained the remains of a woman between 20 and 25 years old along with one infant. But then, a small unusual detail found on several bone fragments changed everything completely. After a careful examination, the research team realized the grave did not contain one baby, but 2 twin fetuses. Angela Levers later recalled that the moment she realized this, she was almost speechless. For several moments, she kept repeating to her colleagues, "My God, they're twins." What made this discovery so extraordinary was the position of the fetal skeletons. The bones of the 2 babies were located around the mother's pelvic area and between her thighs. Based on their analysis, experts concluded that the twins were still in the process of being delivered when tragedy struck. One of the babies was in a breech position, an extremely dangerous childbirth complication in obstetric medicine where the baby is positioned feet first instead of head first. The infant became trapped inside the mother along with the other twin, turning the delivery into a catastrophic and nearly impossible birth. And nearly 8,000 years ago, when humans had no modern medical knowledge whatsoever, such complications were almost certainly a death sentence for both the mother and her children. Scientists believe the young woman died during labor while giving birth to the twins, and neither baby survived. Hearing the story today is heartbreaking. More than 7,700 years ago, in the harsh frozen wilderness of Siberia, a young mother spent the final moments of her life in unimaginable pain while trying to bring her two children into the world. According to Live Science, this may be the oldest confirmed evidence of a twin birth ever discovered in human history. It is also considered one of the earliest known examples showing that childbirth complications claim the lives of both mothers and infants even in prehistoric times. In archaeology, deaths during childbirth are extremely rare to identify because fetal bones are usually too fragile to survive intact over thousands of years. That is exactly what makes the discovery in Irkutsk so remarkable. What is even more fascinating is that archaeologists have so far uncovered around 101 different skeletons throughout this ancient cemetery. All of them belong to people who lived in hunter-gatherer communities around Lake Baikal more than 7,000 years ago. Through these remains, scientists are gradually gaining a clearer understanding of the difficult lives prehistoric humans endured. They faced freezing climates, hunted for survival, and had virtually no medical support of any kind. Even childbirth, something considered routine today, could become the fragile line between life and death.